All right, so let's. Roddy, you have anything to say about 614 Films?
Oh, well, maybe we should introduce each other, huh?
All right, I'm Scott. I'm one of the producers and the editor. Roddy.
I'm Rod Murphy. Yeah, maybe we should talk about how you became involved in this. You know, it's kind of.
Well, you going back to the legends of Southbridge? There was back in. Well, you guys were shooting since '97, and you started sending me tapes when around '99.
I'd say it was 99, yeah.
So you sent me probably the first batch of tapes, which were shot on, what were they shot on again?
Justin's father's RCA, like, quarter-inch 1984 video camera.
It was almost pixel vision. It was an old it was a bunch of VHS tapes, as I recall.
Yeah.
So
that we watched like 4,000 times before we sent it to you.
Yeah, so they were pristine.
And they were also like in a garage.
Yeah.
Different kind of people in Southbridge, odd kind of people, peculiar. Chinese.
There's our boy, I'm busy. Yeah, the microphone was like, what, an old Radio Shack, you know?
Yeah,
with
$7
the jittery
mic.
magnet in it.
Yeah, that definitely dates the tapes for sure.
But the thing about them was there was something there right away that I think, you know, all three of us and just about anybody else who saw any of it was like, this could be something weird.
Jerry, what's that sign up there?
Greater Southbridge.
What the hell's that all about?
I don't know.
What did you have for dinner last night?
There's Dracula.
Okay. I get tapes, you know, porn tapes.
There's Al Dente.
Al Dente Frente. Yeah, a lot of these guys took on nicknames through parts of the production just because. Whatever I don't know. They didn't give us their real name, or
his name is Kenny.
There were just things that were associated with them, or.
He'd also give different names sometimes.
Yeah, that's right. Took a while to get to know a lot of them.
That day, I'm positive it was 5 below zero. And we had him in the door in just his underwear for like 10, 15 minutes, you know? He just got out of the shower.
Just for one day, I would love to live in the mind of this guy because he's so fucking sick.
Because I think he was the gun behind killing John F. Kennedy. Oh, Bobby did. Frank Sinatra.
Loud and proud in Southbridge.
I've had polyps removed out of my nostrils about 7 times.
Well, he's on very strong pills just to keep that eye from popping out of his head.
It's a hell of a haircut.
This people still don't believe is real, by the way. That guy. And of course, this is that's an audience favorite at all the festivals.
The eyeball.
Yeah.
I particularly like the smudge on the next shot on the lens.
Yeah.
Yeah, eyeballs, screwdrivers, gin, tonic, brandy, wine.
If I had the money, I'd be shooting those.
Southbridge sucks!
Fucking shit sucks. The whole place sucks.
I don't know why people want to move out of Southbridge. I want to move into Southbridge.
Take one, action! Ready, set, action!
What do you think about Southbridge in general? Do you like it?
Well, you know, yes, I do. Yes.
This is one of the first. That was the first meeting with Jared. That was when you actually met Jared, which was pretty great.
Yeah, that's a fantastic shot. That pan across wet downtown Southbridge.
Yeah, it looked like they were all getting ready for a nice street fair. I love that Jerry just has somebody who picks them up. Yeah.
His car service.
Yeah, exactly.
There it is. Greatest thing since sliced bread.
And on the cities, right, you have Worcester.
Oh, I love that sign. Such nondescript signs.
All those signs mean nothing to anyone outside of a 20-mile radius. It's just great that everybody sort of locates Southbridge around these other places that no one's ever heard of. You know? So
That's why I like it here.
Yeah, I'm born in Southbridge. Yeah. My own town.
Books and beans. Oh, look, the Goths. The only two Goths in Southbridge. There's Father Peter.
Yeah, pizza chef.
This is the rock of the late James Dennison. He was the first settler to have came into Southbridge. He had stayed here for half a winter so that he wouldn't freeze to death whatsoever. The hill and road are both named after him.
You are an entrepreneur, aren't you, Jerry?
Yes, I am there, Roddy.
All right. What do you got? How much you got there?
There's like 15 cents. Southbridge, same as it ever was.
Hey, there was Armin Giroux.
What do you have to say about
Orange
Giroux.
All right.
Oh, I'd say this guy's your favorite guy, Scott, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Quilt challenge, that's a killer sign.
Yeah. I like that you had you just thought to pick up stuff like that as you were walking around town.
The date and the time in the corner.
Yeah.
That's
well,
really...
You know, you can go in a time capsule. People will dig it up in 500 years. So a little slice of Americana.
All right, let's go to Billis's.
This stool right here, number 11 in the row, John F. Kennedy Jr. when he was on the political trail for U.S. Senator, I believe.
JFK.
JFK at Billis Diner.
He calls him JFK Jr., I'm pretty sure there, doesn't he? Oh, this is the best hat. The best hat.
I liken the atmosphere around here to basically what the old barber shop used to serve as kind of a meeting
Oh,
place
what a beautiful Southbridge in the winter.
Here's one of our buddies, one of our narrators. Shot in 16 by 9, beautiful cinematic 16 by 9.
Look at that. Look, it's VHS behind them. New releases are all VHS.
What's your name?
My name's Colleen. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm
Oh god, this is one of the earliest sequences.
I'm Rachel, and that's Mark.
Wasn't this in Legends?
And we're both from South.
Legends of Southbridge was what, 20 minutes long? It was a pitch reel essentially. It was basically like not a gag reel because we were trying to do something with it, but
We had some sort of alleged in with Mike Judge.
Right.
Through John Hunt. And he wanted to see something.
so we threw together 20 minutes from the first VHS tapes of just strange sequences of, you know, a lot of these little funky montages were born, at least the ideas of them were born from that first Legends of Southbridge trailer or whatever.
It didn't have the heart, though. It definitely didn't have the. We didn't figure out the story really. I don't know if we ever did, but. You know.
Yeah, well, you know, that's what I mean. It took a while. You know, you guys were shooting for what, 5 years, 5.5 years, and
5 years, yeah.
I was cutting for a good 2.5, and for various reasons. And but yeah, I mean, you know, I think we pretty early on knew what we would have loved to have accomplished with it, and it took a while to form it up, to get the material and form it up.
They call me on job short notice, whatever they need help.
So you work, you have a few different part-time jobs, and you get...
This is a pretty big scene right here.
Yeah.
So how do you make ends meet?
That's when you first started getting close with Jerry.
There's the smudge again.
Yeah.
There's Gina and my daughter Veronica.
Yeah, wife and daughter. Here's one of Jerry's great catchphrases.
Get that, that's the night vision.
Yeah, something like that. I don't think it was night vision. I think it was punch the gain and go off the moonlight. No.
Absolutely.
Adrian, then.
Can I ask you something?
Big, sure.
How much money did you make off the bottles I gave you last time?
About over $5. Absolutely.
Jerry,
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm gonna get back to work.
Hey, you guys are you.
Good old Adrian, sucking on a lollipop.
So yeah, you know what this was, man. You know what this reminds me of. And back when the first tapes started getting rolled in the late '90s, you were sending your sister Kate my brother Zebulon tapes, and I kind of feel like some of this was at first sort of an extension of that. I mean, I could be dead wrong, but as I remember, it was just kind of like more weird and interesting stuff, from Roddy in Massachusetts. And because my brother Zebulon audio cassettes were your band, and some of them had some weird stuff on them and were pretty cool. And then it was like all of a sudden these videotapes started rolling in, and Kate got me involved. So.
Yeah, that's a pretty fair assessment of it. That first little pitch reel thing was kind of like a music video and just dumb songs that I made up.
Right.
2 tracks.
Thank you. Okay, sir.
All right, you have a good day.
I certainly will. Okay. Oh, Lisa, thank you very much, sir. Lisa, see this?
You call him like Mr.
Jerome, Mr. Returnable, right, buddy?
Yes, I am the joke.
5 cents is not a joke.
God, I could smell that liquor store.
I could too, and I've never been in it.
1970s. What's the first thing that pops in your head when you hear the 1970s?
I'll tell you, man. I just looking at Billis from a distance, I wish I was there getting a burger.
Yeah.
There's something that just sort of oozes through the screen at you.
Oh, look at
like
the
for
nose hair.
example, Albert's nose.
Good old Gus.
The 1970s.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Pope.
What?
The
What's
Pope.
this? What are you doing?
Word association.
There's Gina.
Yeah.
Various stages of pregnancy over the 30-year shoot.
So all your kids are in this.
I like hockey.
What about God? You believe in God?
Not entirely.
This town has always been a deeply and devoutly religious town.
You believe in God?
Yes, I do. I believe Jesus is God.
There's Harry. I think that's the first time we see Steve.
Full-blown Catholic. Christian, I would say.
Oh, that Foskett just speaks in the cadence. He's just got a little pentameter.
I just believe that Jesus did his thing, and we're doing our thing.
They crucified him for me.
Yeah, a lot of these, there's a lot more footage. It was about finding not just the best lines, but finding like a rhythm in them.
This line kills every time at every festival.
Yeah.
This is when it's not your father's PBS documentary.
I don't believe that because you'd have to be more or less a derelict and a bum after 33 years of wandering through the desert. I mean, I did it for a couple of years out in L.A. I did it because we wanted to go and play the slot machines in Las Vegas.
So, at what point did you guys stop just pulling the camera out for amusement's sake over your lunch hour and realize there was something you wanted to get into with these guys?
I don't know, man. I don't really even know when it turned from being just something to do at lunch and just trying to use the camera as a way to meet all these characters into like an idea to make a movie. I think it was kind of early on we had a pipe dream. Justin and I would talk about it sitting around, but I don't know. Probably like after the first or second year, once you got involved.
Praise the Lord. That's right. That's the Catholic Church. That's Ronnie. That's the Catholic Church.
You pretty religious, John?
Oh yeah, I love the Lord. Yeah, I do. My wife too.
Have you always had a lot of animals?
Oh yeah, I love that.
That's a phone cord, by the way. There's a phone cord
Speaking of cheap equipment,
for a leash.
that's right. For 2 leashes.
Look at it.
1 cord for 2 leashes, along with the Radio Shack microphone. There's something interesting about this guy, but like the cute factor was definitely, and I think Kate definitely had a lot of influence in maintaining certain, not just certain characters in this, but just a certain style to it, you know.
There's my baby kitty. And that's baby girl. She's a chihuahua. Get on your chair, baby girl.
Oh, this is one of the best lines right here.
They sleep there?
No, they sleep in bed with us. Oh yeah, right under the covers.
Oh yeah.
You like animals, huh? Yeah. You like animals and Jesus.
Yeah, and the Lord.
You think racism is a problem in Southbridge?
Racism?
So that didn't make problem.
Sorry?
I don't even stay out that one to see what's going on.
Yeah. How about racism? You see any racism?
No, I'm into sports. I go along with sports.
I haven't seen it.
You think
Into sports. That's one of the top 10 lines of the movie, I'd say.
Oh yeah.
You don't think so? You don't ever feel
Oh,
Of course,
God.
that half a burger bite.
I like his hair. It's so Arsenio Hall.
Here comes our favorite.
Oh, I love this.
Man, oh man, oh man. F-O-S-K-E-T-T.
Oh, God.
That has got to be one of my all-time favorite shots. It's just, I mean, he couldn't have posed himself any better. You know?
What color is your parachute?
I did 6 months ago. Not as much as maybe 10 years ago. 10 years ago, it was 90% French.
It used to be 80% French.
Now, I'm going to honestly say I think it's 90% Puerto Rican.
Now I gotta say it's 80% Puerto Rican.
You don't like Puerto Ricans?
Can't stand them. I'll call them Spicks if you want.
This interview was weird, by the way. There's, you know,
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah, he and Justin really connected in that interview.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you don't see in this movie. Between Wayne and Justin.
That carries 2 stilettos, 1 taped to each leg, and he's faster than someone with a draw.
He did not know my name. The other guy.
Yeah.
He had a
Yeah,
little
after
soft
3.5
spot.
years, he barely knew Roddy's name, but boy, man, Justin was buddy.
I think it went beyond that.
He just took to him.
Young buck. And something rhymed with that. He said he's.
Nobody will mess with you. No Spick will mess with you.
Puerto Rican.
I love the snowdrift behind him there. It's like a 13-foot high snowdrift.
I'll tell you, you know, it's stuff like that. You know, I didn't grow up in Southbridge, but I grew up in New England. And, man, it's just, you know, those drifts piled up in the parking lots are just like, that's February for you, you know?
Oh, this is a Mount Rushmore moment right here.
Yeah, it is. Clash of the Titans.
Returnables not a joke, Wayne. Yeah, he's a.
What is a faff?
He's
You send me letters.
It's actually a sewing machine brand. I know that. P F A A F. Faff.
In the thing, but you put 7 stamps on it.
Hey, Ronnie, the post office, they weigh all mail, yo. They weigh the mail. They got scales that weigh all mail. They got scales that weigh mail. I've had mail that came back to me. I've had mail you'll stand by the post office. Insufficient post.
I still got a bunch of letters from Jerry.
I know we got a whole bunch of pen pals through all the film festivals and
Oh, yeah.
screenings, yeah.
That was fun. Any film festival within 500 miles of Southbridge, you know. I'd try and get out that way, and you guys would bring Jerry in, and, you know.
It was great.
You know, having Jerry in New York and Asheville, and was he with us in Toronto?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Toronto,
Harrisburg.
Nashville, and Manhattan, man, that was some good times.
The one I remember the most was Harrisburg, where we stayed at some like 5-star hotel.
Yeah.
And I drew the short straw and had to room with Jerry. I mean, it was every time pretty much.
Yeah.
He sleeps naked and he had a little episode. He was trying to pick up Justin's girlfriend at the time in the middle of the night.
Oh, no.
Pounding on her door, and then he was pretty much buck naked, pounding on the door of this real swanky hotel. And somebody came up, some security guard came up through the elevator, saw me in the hallway filming Jerry pounding on the door, trying to get into Justin's girlfriend. And the guy turned around and went back in the elevator and went down. It's like he wasn't having any part of a 6'5", naked, balding man shouting.
Every letter I get is about him, ready for the next festival, but he needs a month notice.
Yeah, I love that. He's got to rearrange his schedule.
Yeah, so we gotta get somebody to cover for him in case there's a snowstorm. He's on call. Who's gonna be the crazy lunatic if I'm not in town,
Okay, this part right here, I always love.
Look at him, he's gonna give me a stamp.
We just, learned that the guy's like, counts 5 cents at a time, and either it doesn't mean anything to him, or it doesn't matter to him, or whatever. He's just like, here, you want some stamps,
Yeah, he's gonna give me a third of his paycheck right there.
Exactly.
It's 8 returnables for that stamp.
Yeah.
Letter envelope, but it's probably about that thick. Looks like a Big Mac, and it's got 20 stamps on it. And I open it up, and I'm like, oh boy, do I have time to read this? And I breathe a sigh of relief sometimes because it's everybody's flyer.
Yeah, it's not just a single space.
I love that Mark Caron used Greater Southbridge at a campaign fundraiser. He showed it.
That's great.
And of course the movie stopped halfway through because we never had it burned professionally.
So everybody basically saw the beginning, which is the shocker, and wondered why the hell he would show something like that, because they didn't get to the heartfelt part yet.
Yeah.
1800s up until the late 1980s, y'all. Has anybody in your family ever worked at the former American Optical?
My grandmother Bati worked there for about 40 years. This is my grandmother.
There's Bati.
Oh, Bati.
Sad. Bati's since departed.
AO for a long time. 26 years.
What'd you do there?
I was polishing the lenses.
At one time I had a fantasy basketball league with John Hunt, who did the soundtrack for us. But
one of the producers.
I didn't know how to do it. I never did it before, and I had to have a team name.
Yeah.
So he came up with the name Polishing the Lenses in honor of Bati.
In honor of Bati. John, came through with all these great Austin bands. He was living in Texas at the time. 614 is the oddest film company. I mean, the main players are in Austin, Boston, Southbridge, Asheville, Los Angeles, and everyone put something into it. And he came in with a lot of, he's got a band in Austin. He came in, you know him from college, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're roommates. We were in a band in college.
And he came in with, all these great Austin bands. You guys came out to Los Angeles a couple times to do some cutting, and he showed up with a stack of CDs, and we started pulling stuff that we could use, and it really gives a lot to the movie. It helps prop up the whole attitude and drives it forward. It's great.
Yeah, I don't know how you convinced his friend with the Tight Spot Records to put it out and put all the money up, which was pretty great.
Yeah.
Big mistake. But progression.
Oh, this is a pretty classic moment right here.
Yeah, I fought for this one. I mean, not even with you guys, just in general.
Drums and tuba. That's the band now. I'm actually wearing a Drums and Tuba T-shirt. Been wearing it for about 3 days, I think.
Place in New Mexico.
New Mexico?
I play in Mexico.
Mexico?
Mexico or New Mexico?
Tijuana or something?
You got me now.
Young people from the high schools, right, when they graduate, they go to
I
college.
love that T-shirt. The wardrobe is great. Who was wardrobe? Who was the
designer?
stylist?
Yeah, it should have been Frady's.
Bermuda.
Should have given Frady's wardrobe to put in.
Frady's. Yeah. Hair and wardrobe.
Or what's his girlfriend's name? The drummer?
Oh, Darla McClintock.
Yeah. Should have given her the credit.
The mayor of Southbridge,
Oh,
Albert?
yes. Even the manager calls me, the town manager.
You know Albert Moramo? You know Albert Moramo? You know Albert Moramo?
Albert John.
Al Moramo, everyone knows him. He's known as the unofficial mayor of Southbridge.
Yeah, that's what they call me, the mayor of Southbridge.
How old are you these days, Albert?
I'm gonna be 80.
Holy mackerel.
I'm so spry, I'm so active around everything.
How long you lived in Southbridge?
1918. Born and brought up. Same section where I live at now. No.
Huh? There's another Rushmore moment. There's Any Bear. I love that song. That's a five-hit song.
Yeah, man. I was reading the Bible last night. No Bible at home. Keep me occupied, you know.
He's tall.
It says that when Jesus died, when they hung him on the cross, his mother gave him codeine for the pain.
He's really skinny. We call him Heroin Man.
They had drugs in the days.
I don't know. He's pretty cool, you know. He was always nice to me.
I mean, if I'm walking down the street and somebody says, here, here's a couple bags of dope, I'd do it. And immediately, if I had a needle, I'd shoot it.
Yeah, actually, remember when I gave him my jacket? He liked my corduroy jacket. We swapped jackets.
Oh, that's a friend of mine, George.
Oh.
Give him the shirt off your back, man.
There's a top 10 moment right here.
Yeah.
Look at those fingernails.
Oh.
You're kind of notorious as a walker, huh?
That's the thing. I mean, hundreds of times we've had to watch this movie, you know?
Yeah.
God, I repeat these lines daily. Every single time something comes up and somebody, it's like some idea on how to do something, I always say, that's a good idea. every day, at least 2 or 3 times.
What is it?
Spring water.
When we first started sending this out to festivals, it was a rough road. We were a hair's breadth from premiering at South by Southwest. Remember that?
Oh, I remember. It was one of the most crushing blows.
It was a heartbreak. It was like our entire damn soundtrack is out of Austin, and we didn't get a rejection letter. We got a phone call, as I recall.
We got a letter, and an email, and a phone call saying we were on the bubble, kind of.
Yeah, saying it was between us and one other show, and that, essentially like half the board loved it and half the board was threatening to quit if we put it in. You know what I mean? It's something to that extent. And wait for it, we're pulling for you, we're pulling for you, we're pulling for you. We'll let you know Monday morning. And Monday came and they chose the other one, and that would have been our premiere was South by. And whatever anybody says about being, their own judge, about taking their own sort of judgment on these things. If we had premiered at South by, it would have made a big difference in the other festivals.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, so then it was kind of an uphill slog. And we started out in small festivals and got into medium ones, and along we went. And I taken the long way around the barn, but I just remember at one of the first festivals, there were people who were on the board that had been passing the tape around and all loved it so much, and they came at the closing night party. They all came walking into this bar and didn't know who I was, and they were all singing the 01550 song and like spouting different lines from the film, just completely unapproached, just and it was at that point that I was like, okay, we've got our people out there somewhere, man.
That's the thing I gotta keep reminding, but people like it. Who cares if stuffy people that are on boards, or committees can't see past, some obvious technical problems.
Timestamps.
Wonderful. Floyd St. Patterson Band.
That's awesome. You're too obsessed with that music stuff. He's not interested in karate or anything. He just wants.
I can't wait till he hears you play.
Run, he's gonna hate it.
What's your favorite kind of music?
I like funk, hip hop, and rap. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll, rock and roll.
I'm always sing a song.
Every time I see Pat, all I can think about is how amazing that shirt is.
Remember you guys when you first shot that, it was one of the first interviews you shot, and I remember looking at the raw footage when I got it, and you guys commenting as she was walking away that it wasn't going to get any better. You know, that you guys had essentially found the greatest possible interview, and I think it was probably the second or third tape you shot out of hundreds of hours, or whatever it was.
I had Irish? Yeah, it was nice music. What about gangster rap? You know, down with the homies?
Some I do.
My favorite artist would be Elvis, but he's dead.
Albert, yeah.
L. Smith.
Old Aerosmith.
Good stuff. Not the crap they listen to now.
Does anybody ever tell you you look like someone famous?
This is another favorite moment.
You ever hear of Ted Turner?
Yeah, I ain't there.
Do you think you look like anybody famous?
Dracula, Count Dracula.
I think I look a little bit like a Clark Gable.
Yeah, Benny Hill.
Bill S. Preston, Esquire.
Janine Garofalo.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Nipsey Russell.
Wednesday Addams.
Clint Eastwood. Muhammad Ali.
My father.
That guy looked like Kevin Smith.
Robert Duvall.
Robert Duvall.
Robert Downey Jr. A little bit, don't I?
You think Jerry has any idea who Robert Downey Jr. is? Right there? Or is he thinking Morton Downey Jr.?
He's probably thinking of a singer.
Okay, what's your name? Harry Shaw. And what do you do for a job?
I don't know, does Jerry know movies? I mean, you know, he's
No, he doesn't
encyclopedic
like movies.
on the, the singers.
He doesn't like movies.
No.
So you live in Southbridge your whole
There's only like how many Harry Shaw interviews were there? Maybe 2 or 3?
I think there were 2 or 3. You know, but
good ones.
They were good interviews, and they also, I mean, I think part of it was that you guys grew up in this town, and you saw these guys all over the place for years. And I think that even though there were probably only 2 or 3 interviews with Harry Shaw, there was like a connection with him because, you know.
Gina and him had a little connection for sure.
Yeah.
10 years. 10 years Valentine's Day. Got any kids?
I love that banner.
Yeah.
They probably took that at Hampton Beach or something.
Are you as honest as Abraham? No. How you can be in this world?
Oh yeah.
There we go.
That's one of the best shots ever.
Southbridge? Yeah. Drive? I ride my bike everywhere. No, I don't have my license. You don't have it? I lost
God, I can't believe you haven't had a bike. I can't believe you didn't get for smack.
Go away for a while? A little while. How was that?
I wonder how he's doing these days.
Rehabilitated since then? Hell no. Well, I don't want to stay so long.
Oh God, this is a classic scene.
He's a sexy man.
We got the toy deposit, $300. Party you know. What are you gonna do with the $300? You get fucking high, say right now. On what? Whatever comes first.
The scorecards, that was like a stroke of genius. I love that.
Yeah.
That whole idea. We came up with that thing. It was like the baseball card kind of thing, you know?
Well, once upon a time, I remember we had big ideas about like animating them and kind of having the numbers roll up or whatever. Just getting it up there at all, like highlighting our main guys.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I love how he has teeth right here. He's got his dentures in there.
Hey, you know, I told my bitch the other day I got into a big fight with her.
This one is always painful when you're watching it with like your mother. The first time we watched this, it's like, oh man, what am I gonna hide here? He's talking about fellatio.
Nah, not really. Just a piece of ass, you know?
He's got some serious Lemmy from Motorhead moles.
Do you agree with spitting in public?
No. But people still do it.
Hey, take a right.
Oh, it's a classic scene.
This part, I mean, I remember he was literally, as I recall, from the footage. I wasn't there with you guys, but
Yeah, he was all strung out, right?
yeah, he was strung out and he was about to puke in your car. Any given moment. And he was just, and you wouldn't let him go. You kept trying to interview him. You're like, one more question.
Because we never thought he was about to go away to jail or something.
That's what Southbridge looks like. There you go.
There you go.
That's
Boarded up houses. There you go.
What do you think the average rent in Southbridge is?
Maybe 400, 450.
The average rent for apartments in downtown.
It's another insight into Jerry, because he's got sort of encyclopedic knowledge about certain things, but then, how much do you think people make? 5,000, 10,000? Those kinds of figures don't mean anything.
It's just survival.
Right, but on top of just survival, he can recite the top 10 songs of each month of, each year since 1972.
Do you think the Department of Defense moving into town is going to increase your business?
We're hoping they will. It's a good opportunity, I think, for the town as well.
The federal government's coming in town and they're opening up a training center here and it's going to pump a bunch of money into Southbridge?
Oh, that's an idea.
Do you think it'll help Southbridge?
They claim it will.
If they hire Southbridge people, I think they're going to get 70 to 75% Puerto Rican.
It'll hopefully bring in more government jobs in
Oh, that was a weird shot. That shot at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
Looking over the rotary.
Yeah.
You know Teddy pretty well, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
You got a hotline to him?
If you need something done, let me know. The Irish Mafia will get it done.
Yeah, every time Foskett comes on,
He says, you get my secretary?
you just kind of feel a little better.
His face looks different. You can tell the years right there. He's a little more healthy there.
I met him a couple of times fishing.
That's a killer hat, though. Holy mackerel. He's got the best hats.
Well, that's the thing. The shots where he's shirtless in his apartment, you see there are a couple, I think, where you could see the 40, 50, 110 hats hanging on his wall.
Yeah. They all could have been Justin's.
There's a bunch of them right there. Yeah.
Chuck Norris.
They all could have
Barry, Dan Masterson. He's on that list, too. He's got a 12th degree.
Ted Williams.
He's a good fisherman, huh, Ted Williams?
I met Nick Jagger. We were playing basketball one night at Crompton Park in Worcester. And after we stopped playing, I said, let's go have a beer.
Yeah, how long you been off the sauce?
July 23rd of this 2001, it'll be 7 years.
And with this goddamn...
World's greatest grandpa. What's his hat there, you think? God, he's got a zillion hats.
Sierra Club, maybe?
You think he'd wear a Sierra Club hat?
Closet environmentalist, maybe? Puerto Ricans.
Arthur. He doesn't make a lot of appearances, does he?
Oh, there you go.
Childhood friend's father, Tony G's dad, Arthur. Nice guy.
Yeah.
I love those scenes.
Bit long-winded.
Yes.
He does tend to make the same point over and over again.
Have you done any stories about racism? And
It's uncomfortable for people to on the record talk about it. I mean, you can get a whole bunch of nameless people who spout off their opinions, but no one's going to ever come out and say, yeah, I'm racist.
I know, I hate sweats.
The juxtaposition, though, where she says nobody's going to come out and say...
Except for maybe these guys.
Lazy. They want everything for nothing. They fly all the way from Puerto Rico.
That guy beat the crap out of me in the middle of the road with his handbag. Justin didn't have the camera on. He beat and the traffic was stopped. He was smashing me with his bag.
We always hang out together and they think we're in gangs and everything, and we're not. We're actually not in gangs.
Yeah, he's a gangster, exactly. Just because you drive a lowrider, you're a drug dealer.
You're gonna see that as like, damn, he must be selling drugs.
Exactly.
I sell drugs, man. I work hard for my money. I make good money,
I mean, myself, I'm pro-minorities, you know. I'm not overboard with it, but, you know, like, I love black women. I think she's one of the sexiest creatures ever conceived or whatever.
Do you have any idea what it's costing the taxpayers of this town to support these people? Do you have any idea?
I don't know the figures. Do you know the
It's costing in the millions of dollars.
Or welfare, now it's called the Department of Transitional Assistance, but the office down there plays service to predominantly single white moms.
This is one of my favorite parts, you know, because Mark just comes up and lays down the facts, you know.
That's what set off Ipsman. He was gonna beat the shit out of me right there.
People are surprised when they see those figures.
Do you think it's tense?
No.
Can we do a shot?
We stay in that corner, we stay in that corner. Hopefully, someday, people will realize that they can come right up.
Oh boy, my sister Ursula Kate constantly, and I always repeat this line to Gina.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
My wife is Spanish.
There you go. There you go.
That's why, could be.
Watch him.
That's why you might disagree.
Look at all the stuff on the walls.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That was at
Jerry's
the.
not a racist in Southbridge.
Like the goodwill ambassador between Foskett and the Puerto Ricans.
Besides the damn Puerto Ricans, what are other things about Southbridge that you really hate, that really piss you off?
Nothing. Everything's great here.
You asked a lot of people a lot of very silly questions. and a lot of them didn't make it in. I mean, a lot of them were sequences that didn't make it in the film. Like, you know, how far do you walk every day? What'd you have for dinner last night? When do you wake up this morning? And they all turned into a sequence, you know, so somewhere.
Oh, I love this scene. That's another one of those. We always wanted to make T-shirts. One of the lines from the movie, just different slogans on T-shirts. They manipulate their own power.
Yeah. Any number of Jerry's scripts right there would be great too.
There's very little to keep youth here to entertain.
But you know, like your questions. At first, I remember looking at these tapes and just being like, "What the hell are you doing? You're asking them what they had for dinner last night. What's, you know?" And the cool thing was, it's like you realize, you guys would just, you know, bullshit with these guys for a while. They'd chat with them. And after a while, they start to loosen up, you know, and you kind of caught them off guard, you know, with some of this stuff. But all of those questions turned into subject bins. I remember I created on the Avid just I don't even know, uncountable subject bins. Like anytime that Jerry went into a script, you know, of his arguing, bitching, clashing, fighting, hollering, quarreling, screaming, swearing, yelling, you know, or like anytime it was like 5 cents is not a joke, or anytime, you know, there was something about the DOD or you know, the Pope, or there was one bin that was all like word association, and then inside that bin there was like all the different word associations, you know, and then each of those became their own sequence. And it was just an enormous amount of processing through like every scrap of footage in order to figure out what all these like different beats were that you guys got, in terms of like the word associations and the different odd questions. And what's your favorite beer? You know, that one made it in. What's your favorite music? You know, and some of those became punctuators and became kind of personality for the film. You know, a little like color. And a lot of them, you know, a lot of them are waiting for their day in court.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any other way to do it. If there's any other way to do it, I'd love to see somebody try. You know, coming up with a camera that was obviously not a real camera.
Right.
Probably coming off as amateurish, if anybody's even thinking that far, and then just coming up as skittish people that get made fun of all the time and their whole lives, and they're just bad places, lots of them. Just doing it, just warming up, just having a real casual conversation like Justin and I would have with each other, you know? That's pretty much what it was, just two morons talking to each other, just bringing it out to the street.
I can go get some if you want.
die?
No, almost. I saved his life. If he would have died in my house, I would have been stuck in jail for a good 20 years.
So when you do heroin, you shoot it in your arm?
Yeah.
Let me see your arm. For the camera, man.
Oh, God, I love this scene.
You're just strung out.
The toilet paper.
That's, yeah.
They didn't have rolls you could have taken?
Huh? You gotta go through them years of alcohol and drugs. You have to, because if you don't do that by the time you're 21, you just miss the boat.
This is a perennial favorite right here.
Do you think Southbridge makes you drink?
So much said, and this was a stroke of, a stroke of genius on your part, Roddy, with the camera.
I think if you can't leave Southbridge, yes. I think that people, it's like a nest. It's like a haven for, I don't know, people who just can't seem to leave.
And Pam. What?
I wanted to ask you if you felt Southbridge
What?
hit the bottle a little more than you would normally do.
Yes and no. Simply because I got a permit to carry a concealed weapon.
From Colin Powell. When I got discharged from the Marine Corps in Vietnam.
God, somebody should have counted how many different hats Wayne had in this movie. Most of the interviews with him are in my mother's van.
Well, you were constantly giving him rides.
Yeah.
What do they call you, brother, now?
The Cobra.
The Cobra.
The lone wolf.
And you were the
Sidewinder.
Oh, I thought you were the lone wolf.
I was until I changed my name to the Sidewinder.
That's the only time we ever called him on some of his
My hand and stop at 357.
taking some of those liberties he takes.
Crushed the bullet. It folded up as it hit my hand. First time,
Marines.
like a son of a bitch went right through my hand. Then I tried it again, and I said, I gotta be nuts.
Look at those pants. Look at these like cut off corduroys. It's winter. That's like dead of winter. We went there that day.
I got a few things about my
There you go, Roddy. There's your big moment. Except, what is it? You're in the very beginning, right? Where you're crossing the street.
Oh yeah.
And we got
And
you
then
here.
this. That's it.
Paul McCartney was responsible for Linda McCartney getting rubbed out too.
So have you heard about Harry Shaw?
Yeah. You know, I know the guy myself very well, and that thing, you know, everybody doesn't know whatsoever if he's abducted or kidnapped.
God, I remember that. Boy, those posters were everywhere.
Well, that's the thing, you know. You guys shot for 5.5 years. This stuff unfolded over a long time.
It's another Mount Rushmore.
A lot of documentaries are about specific events or specific periods of time, or if they're historical, it's not that they were there. You know, it's more like they talk to historians or whatever. But this, you know, you guys shot for a long ass time, and you capture a lot of what the town was going through.
Yeah, pretty pivotal moment. Southbridge seems a lot different now.
Well, we were talking about that at the time too. I remember one of the last time I came out there at one point right before you moved, Roddy, and we were shooting some stuff. One of my shots is actually in the movie.
Yeah, the rain shot.
The rain shot through the windshield, and but we were talking about it. You know, it was like having captured kind of a moment right before a lot was about to change, right before, you know, the DOD was, you know, whatever, opening all this new stuff, and there were movie theaters coming, and whole, you know, like you say, revitalization spurt.
So maybe
he doesn't even know that.
So maybe he thought you were
Incredibly sad.
gonna get sick.
We went back a few times after. It was just, oh.
Harry, everything is going fine. Please come home. Love you.
Hey, Jerry, where are we headed?
All right, I'm going to show you. The laundromat, it's called the Downback Laundromat. It's located in the back of Ed's Typewriter Service.
When's the last time you did laundry?
It's about close to New Year's, Ronnie.
So about 4 months?
Yeah, Ronnie.
Why?
Because it costs a lot of money.
You having a hard time making ends meet these days?
No. That's Oh, what's this? Is this a kid's tape?
That's a kid's tape.
This is great. This is one of my favorite bits because he's really trying to say what he thinks is the right thing to say until you let him know it's okay.
It's all right if you are, Jerry.
Oh, yeah.
Are you or aren't you?
Yeah.
I am,
Yeah. Boy,
Yeah.
these two scenes are the same day, I think, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
The ones with the college, Ronnie, they may have been born with disabilities.
Yeah, this scene is unbelievable.
What's your disability?
Yeah, it was a rough thing for him to come out with.
Yeah, he's still kind of dealing. There's Justin, looking good.
Are you right-handed?
It was tough for him at the festivals. I remember we had to
Oh God,
smooth that
yeah.
over with him.
Several of those, he would just start talking during the movie.
It's just hard for him to relive, I guess.
And it's still drive good cross country. It wasn't too smart back then anyway.
So you were a truck driver?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I still like to be doing it, but nobody's got a sense of humor. They don't let me drive no more.
What do you do for a living, Wayne?
Nothing. Collect insurance, $1,600 a month.
How do you get that gig?
Cracked up a car. Hit black ice. Rolled it 4 times. I went through the side window, and those 2 scars right there are subdural hematoma, which I had.
Cerebral hemorrhage.
That's a kick-ass line right there. Cerebral hemorrhage. He owned that line. It didn't make it in, but right there he was telling us about Wednesdays. The yellow guys wear yellow so they know other guys that.
Oh God. Yeah.
Other guys that might be of the same sexual persuasion.
Another Wayne's World moment, kind of. Or at least, Wayne's view of the world moment.
Wayne's World. Oh, these people. Boy.
Yeah, they're charming.
When you say hamburger, he sits there and hisses at you.
Oh, God, yeah, this is a pretty... I wish the audio was better.
You get the point, though. You get the mood of it. The look on his face.
Poor bastard. God.
How much you banking these days?
If he could have caught him, he would have killed all of them. They're just kids, though. God, I probably did dumb shit like that when I was their age.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing, I think there's a lot in this movie that speaks to that, and it's like, you break that down a little bit, which is cool to you guys.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Hey, kids. My sister.
That was another thing that you reminded me of when you said how it took months and months and months of hanging out with him to get him to open up about some of this stuff. There was something else that happened too, not just about opening up, was that from the first day that you approached him in the park to towards the end, the amount of his stuttering, the way that he talked to you guys, he'd come a long way just by having friends to hang out with, just by hanging out with other people.
Just more relaxed.
Yeah, he was more relaxed. He was stuttering a lot less,
Arguing, bitching, classing, fighting, hollering, quarreling, screaming, swearing, yelling.
There's a script. It goes through.
Arguing, bitching, clashing, fighting, hollering, quarreling, screaming, swearing, yelling. Bombs were dropping.
Yeah, that editing, that thing, I was amazed by that. Just all the different times he says that line. I love that.
Better than me themselves then. Oh, she got this high class attitude. They were so much better and high class than me. She got all of Anne Murray's tapes. Roddy, those were the baddest moves, Roddy, I've ever been in. Those were the baddest moves. They kept pushing and pushing and pushing me, Roddy, until, Roddy, I finally stopped, Roddy. It was a big family fight, Roddy, big family fight. Hell broke loose, Roddy. Hell broke loose, Roddy.
You're pretty close to a very large, angry guy right here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they was like "Take It Easy" was playing on the laundromat radio, the Eagles. There's just so many weird things like that, you know. It's in the laundromat and he's letting out his dirty laundry.
I love how he managed to turn around just to the point where he gets completely blown out in the background. You know, the rage just overtakes the scene. You know, his body position couldn't be better. You know, to illustrate his internal struggle.
I was never in a bad mood until I finally pushed. I finally snapped.
He had a hard life, man. Got made fun of instantly, and his mom died when he was a kid.
There's only one person.
It's a great moment.
Yeah, it is.
Just for Jerry, this is like midnight.
Look at that door.
You know, one thing that was never explained in the film, in the cut, we didn't manage to get the exposition in there. And I just, like, one thing I worried about for a long time, but no one ever seemed to bother with it in the festivals, was where you say, you know, where you call Justin douchebag right here. No one ever knows that like, you guys were calling each other names a lot.
Douchebag, I mean.
And I was just worried that they think, oh, he's calling Jerry, you know. But
I never even thought of that.
Chicks and beer and music.
Okay, you guys. Is everybody giving us all right?
there you go, Jerry Shineski, MC Boston, Mass.
Technical difficulties going on with the feedback.
Yeah, Jerry was made for certain things, you know, and as odd as it seems, getting up in front of a lot of people and making some noise, you know.
That was always the best at those festivals, you know. They'd give you like 10 minutes afterwards to talk, and we'd talk for about 8, and then Jerry would come up and talk for about 25.
But he was actually the minute we'd kind of give him the high sign,
yeah,
he'd know to wrap it up. You know?
He was polite. He just didn't, you know, he'd get rolling. It's hard to.
Yeah.
Warm round of applause for my brother Zebulon, also known as Ron Damar Murphy, everybody.
How did he do the... He did really, I mean... Let's put your hands together. You know, he gets stuck a couple times, but he has this whole little mantra.
That's great. It takes about a minute for him to get it out, but it's not because he's stuttering. It's just a long introduction.
You know, it could almost become a style. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Hey, the things that pass for art these days,
he could be
like this movie right here.
Is he married, Wayne?
Separated.
How long were you married?
21 years.
And here's Wayne's soulful moment.
Yeah.
We learned that he might be a little nutty, but he's had a tough life too.
Acknowledge the neighbors as his parents. Didn't even invite us to the wedding. He's pushing heroin. Pure heroin.
He knows I know, and I approached him with an undercover cop, state trooper.
And he said, "Fuck you, Dad, and fuck you, cop."
49ers. He loves the 49ers.
And that's the last I saw of my son.
That's a shame.
There's your shot.
There's my shot.
What's your shirt say? World's greatest
World's
grandpa.
greatest grandpa.
I love the Justin. Woo!
2 months ago. Grandson was born dead.
This is Justin's dad's camera.
Shooting heroin.
Is it? Yeah. You can see the color correct. Kind of. We had to go a bit further with it.
Mainlining the heroin.
The rain on the lens.
And it just keeps auto-focusing back and forth.
It's
awesome.
trying to
It's
focus
amazing
on the
there's-
drops, I think.
It's amazing there's not a timestamp on it.
That camera was built before there was timestamps.
Look at my arm. He showed me. Oh,
Is he from Southbridge?
Worcester. Originally
Southbridge. Boston, if you need him. But he's working for the government.
See, the thing I love about this whole scene, you know, just letting it go on like this, is you see when it is that Wayne goes into his stories. You know, it's like when something gets hard, he decides what he wants to make out of it. You know, he decides how to turn it into something much more interesting. One of the things I love about the umbrella is it's like, you know, it's representative of this much more colorful kind of mindscape, you know, of his.
It's definitely the longest fluid shot of the entire movie.
Oh yeah,
probably by like 5 times, you know, more than any other shot. Every shot is like 3 seconds.
Why do you think there's so many odd people in Southbridge?
I don't know. It's because the town sucks.
I have no idea why they are, but Southbridge has a share of strangers.
No.
Oh, they can't help that.
This guy, you know, you look at him, it's that can't judge a book by a cover, you know? He's a really sensitive, nice guy, you know?
Or people that were born with no arms. Or just blue arms with baby hands.
He looks like he'd just be some kind of, you know, a thug sort of dude, but he's a really nice dude.
Who loves to go into very specific details about how many different ways you can be born screwed up.
Yeah, baby arm. Oh, what was his name? Thunder.
Thunder and Vincent.
God, they're great. Man. He's definitely slept under a bridge for a long extended period.
Good amazing years.
They were Indian.
Amazing years.
Reese, he could have been a big character.
There are a couple guys in this that we thought were going to be bigger. Ron, for example, was originally a much larger character.
He ended up on the cutting room floor.
He had to, unfortunately. You know, he's sort of a large. I think he's a large presence in the town, on the, you know, around. But and you shot a lot with him. But
Frady's loved Ron.
You know, not for the grace of God. There go I.
Everything to me, they're all equal.
Any Bear, random guy.
Yeah, another random guy.
There's Ron. His dad was a World War II veteran.
See, that was the interesting part of Ron that never quite made it.
Yeah.
Was
Speaking of that,
Dad? What was it? Ron.
He sort of assumed his dad's history.
Yeah. Well, Ron at one point said that he was in World War II and World War I.
And Vietnam.
And Vietnam.
Yeah.
He had a whole
There he is.
backstory.
Liz Taylor, Raquel Roach, Raquel Welch, Sophie Loren.
Oh, this is another Justin question.
What do you think about Winona Ryder?
I think she's a good singer.
What's your top 3 famous babes? The best looking hot chicks?
Don't mention babe.
Huh?
Don't mention no babe. I got enough babe around here already. I don't know what to do with them all.
You got a lot of girlfriends?
Yeah, that's
Really?
what I mean.
I almost really went out with one who lives all the way down in Putnam, Connecticut. I haven't seen in a hell of a long time. Her name is Debbie Desolate. I lost track of her.
Is she hot?
Debbie Desolate? God, she's big and fat.
What do you go for most at a lady?
Go for the face, the hair, the looks, the body. I also go for musical talent.
Oh, that's right.
I have a question for you. Why the absolute love towards women who play music? Exactly.
Well,
the passion.
it's a nice shot. It was bright sunlight that day.
Yeah. Yeah, and he, you know, and Jerry had definitely, like, you know, was kind of one of the crew at this point. You know, this is a much later interview.
Yeah, him and Gina had a good thing too.
Yeah, absolutely. Gina's got a good vibe with a lot of people.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you know.
How about Mariah Carey?
I've always liked her. I've always been.
Sunglasses.
She has got an incredible an incredible body and something
I guess she just interjects a little bit right there. Kind of helps him out with the beautiful body part.
Yeah.
The long held out for payoff.
Hey, Gina, you still have your harmonica, Gina?
I don't play it, Jerry.
Yeah, you didn't bring your harmonica? Do you have any harmonicas?
You heard me. You never talk to me again.
Could get you signed up for lessons.
Oh, no!
Yeah, come on.
I only play if you dance.
Probably not the, the Donna's performance that Jerry was hoping for, but he certainly enjoyed it,
Poor girl. I wonder what his shirt says there. I love the railroad cap.
I learned about encouragement and fairness, and I listened.
Well, that's true. You encouraged me.
Oh, yeah, yes, I did. You're good.
Yeah, this is with the high 8. That's another great thing. I mean, we upgraded from Justin's father's piece of crap camera to a Sony Handycam high 8. But I never bought the high 8 tapes because they cost like $2 more.
Yeah, I was pretty psyched about that. I was so thrilled when you guys upgraded from VHS and then started getting these regular 8 tapes.
They were $2 cheaper.
Of course.
Like, it was like some horrible knockoff brand too. It wasn't even like a.
Dude, you know what? Like when I got all of your tapes, the first thing I did was dub them all to Beta SP stock so that I would have something with time code, that I could use as a master. But I didn't know what the hell we were doing at the time, and I wasn't going to spend any money either, so it was all dirty old recycled, 10-use Beta stock. It was just, this poor film, man, it was just kicked around for years. But
this is the beginning of the digital age.
Yeah,
we weren't around. We didn't get told it was the digital age, though.
Yeah, no one told us. I was working on a system at the company I was working for like nights and weekends till 4 or 5 in the morning for like, a year.
Yeah, there was various
hiding
production
drives.
assistants that Kate would get for you, probably scared off and scarred for
Oh, absolutely scarred for life. And they won't talk to me anymore and will try and run me down if they see me on the street. Kate, actually, one of the greatest things that Kate did was took this seriously. She said, "We're going to get you an intern," and I was like, I didn't want it. I was going at my own pace. What it really was as soon as I had an intern, then I'd be responsible to somebody, and we'd all have to take this very seriously. It's like suddenly we'd have to be professional.
Yeah.
And but she was right, and she got Emily, who turned out to be a great help, and it did exactly that. It made me, and I think all of us to a certain degree, start taking the movie and 614 in general, pretty seriously, and pushed it along to actually do something with it and get it made.
Yeah, wow. Somebody had to do it.
So were you sad?
Very sad.
Well, there's other people that brought it up once it was already something, like guys like Nick.
Yeah.
Lorenzen was, he had real talent with putting things together as far as press.
Yeah, he was great.
A lot of people, a lot of those, once those screenings, those were pretty unbelievable. I remember, I think I had already moved away, and Justin was doing a lot of them on his own. And people were just calling me round the clock. It was just bizarre, It was like this thing just sort of took on a life in that town.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing was, we just talked right over the soulful moment there.
Yeah.
But
it's a little too sad.
And Southbridge probably lost a piece of its puzzle, like Justin would say.
Why do bad things happen to good people?
I don't know.
He will be missed. He is missed.
Hi, this is W. Seb with Mr. Lincoln, one of the #1 legends of Southbridge. Forever young.
Thank you.
love the same shot twice with the.
No, it's a different angle. You're further down the sidewalk, and of course the United
Cross.
Way has got all of about 2% of their goal, which is great.
I love
and
that.
Jerry hits the time-lapse button on the lamppost there, and everything goes fast. But yeah, no, just real quick about, Nick, but just in general, it's like I work out here in LA, but I had never made anything like this before, and you guys certainly hadn't. And the cool thing was, it was different people got excited about it, and everybody pitched in. Ursula,
Ursula, yeah.
Ursula. I mean, basically, none of us could have done it alone, or even 2 or 6 of us, and it was pretty cool.
All those little monotonous, horrible jobs of doing festival applications and nailing
and just
junk.
like details and logistics, and I mean, all of us had to slog through a lot of boring stuff in order to get something cool going.
While we're all doing our regular job.
Exactly.
Which I think personally stinks. They were going to hire all kinds of Southbridge people. Good. It's going to be all government jobs. So I think we're getting shafted, I think. AO was a place where you could get a job, but not DOD. You cannot apply for no job, not unless you went to college. If you have a squeaky clean criminal record, they look you up and down. The government, strict.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of those early screenings were eye-opening too. Like I was really concerned about people from Southbridge seeing it and being pissed off or something, But the guys that I value, they all seem to really get it.
And then you got Mark Caron showing it at a fundraiser,
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if you can bridge the gap where you got, hardcore Republicans and crazy lefties all liking the same movie, I think that's pretty good.
Oh, what do you think, Jer?
Oh, I love this scene.
Looking good, my man. Yeah, they fit.
He's got that My Brother Zebulon shirt on again.
You'll take them.
and it's clean.
Bargain at twice the price. All right. Yeah.
Oh, look at those pants.
What's
Oh,
that say?
man. Steamy, creamy, dreamy.
Jerry, you know Peking Chef Restaurant?
It's my parents' house.
Your parents' house.
Yes, I do.
He comes in here all the time. We give him what the buffet offers, which is all types of.
And we go around the community and everyone knows them.
Dish in there.
He likes everything.
Yeah, the old cliche, the more things change, the more they stay the same. It's like the small New England town atmosphere. It may have blown up, gotten small again, changed its demographic, what have you. But it's the heart of it, is still there.
So you know Jerry?
And everybody's looking out for their people. So
I think it comes across.
yeah.
My dad and my mom comes in it later on. I stole when it was using Justin's father's camera and it was actual VHS tapes. I think every one of them came out of my dad's. He used to buy them in bulk for something, for his job. I stole every single one of them from my dad.
Here goes the hero, like Freitas.
Frady's looking good right there.
Tell ya. This is one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, I think this is one of the best songs.
Seeing it, it's a great song, and just you see how, first of all, how excited Jerry gets over a truckload of cans, But the other great thing is just how excited he is to see Freitas.
Frady's. His real name is Freitas,
I
but
know.
somehow it's become Frady.
I know. Well, Jerry made it Freitas.
God, he spits a lot in this scene.
At his sister's parents' house down in Southbridge or Barbican, Isaiah Frady's. When you get back home, call, collect a long distance Ron Ball Jr. on his cordless telephone and have him let me know of how much of bottle gas do you have to make sure that every last returnable is out of that house. No bottle and can returnable is left Freddy's whatsoever. I want to make sure old kid and Freddy stays for long.
Here we go. Look at how many cans he's got here.
Tailgate down.
It's filled up to F.
I think I'm afraid he's here for Freddy's. Hey, Freddy's, you really came through, Freddy's. Hey, Freddy, this is badly needed money back in my pocket.
Just got to know you, what do you know? You're packed up and you're ready.
No guys in the back.
Oh, this is one of the top 10 moments.
Absolutely. It still fizzes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
People have asked me if that was planted. And I was like, doesn't matter.
God, I wish. If it was planted, that'd be the most brilliant plant.
Like, I don't think anything was planted.
That's probably the line everybody takes away from the movie, huh?
What's that?
5 cents is not a joke.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I hope so.
This is
I hope that's one of them.
The bottle deposit law has been right here in Massachusetts. The bottle deposit law, 20 years old, has got to be expanded. Sports drinks and fruit juices, iced teas and tonic waters. Can collection in Southbridge.
Awesome.
Southbridge has a lot of good things going for it, and one of it is there is still a spirit of community here. Even with the polarization you have with all the different ethnic groups, I think that some of that is lessening, and people are starting to come together and trust each other a little bit more, and realizing that.
Did you have like a wave bin?
Yeah, I had a lot of topics bins, and they all turned into a sequence. We went through every scrap and tried it on in different permutations and different combinations with other pieces, in order to find not only the arc of the film, but just the rhythm of it,
I think you expect a lot out of the people watching the movie, just looking at that. How many different times there's text on screen? I mean, how many movies you gotta read 50 times? You gotta read a whole bunch of stuff 50 times. That isn't a foreign language movie.
Right. Well, it's, I think a lot of it is played, for humor, so that makes it more palatable, more digestible. So, I don't know. You use your material, to your advantage. I had early on seen Hands on Hardbody, and thought that if we could make a good story, that we didn't have to shoot on, HD tape. It's like, in fact, just the opposite. It's like some of the edginess of it, the timestamp in the corner, all of that brings a certain familiarity to this that we could use to our advantage. And I think it worked out.
My eyesight back so I can see you guys instead of just listening to you. Is there anything you want to say to Southbridge? I want to say God bless Southbridge.
It's amazing that now it's nearing the end. You can think about all the people that aren't around anymore. That it's I don't know how many. What the count is? Anybody have the count?
I don't know.
It's got to be double digits. People that have passed on. Wayne, of course. Incredibly sad. God, Wayne got hit by cars before, during, and after the filming.
You think you'll ever move out of Southbridge?
Oh, me? No.
Why not?
Because I know I won't.
You think you'll ever move?
Me? No. I love Southbridge. I fell in love with Southbridge the first day I drove in here. It reminded me of the town I came from, Malone, New York. Because when you go into Malone, you come up a big hill.
A lot of people move to Southbridge from Malone, New York. My dad always tells me about that. It's like right on the border of New York and Canada, like up in the Adirondacks or something. There's your mother and your father.
There's your mother and your father, Roddy.
Yeah. Oh, there's a dead guy we got.
Yeah.
Out the window on Hamilton Street. That's the money shot right there, huh?
There's Justin.
When we were doing this, I never thought Justin and I would even be, referenced in it. It's like, it's gonna be, verite.
You had to. The two of you, your personality, had to be a driving force. And then I obviously tried to put some in the cut.
Yeah, worked.
It's not without its challenges, though. But it will come around. We're survivors. We're human beings, and that's what we do.
Would you like some more coffee? Sorry,
It's all right. It's all right. I gotta go.
I promise I'm not gonna bother you no more now.
Thank you. Pretty much like everything about Southbridge.
I'm used to it. What to say about it? I mean, it's a town anyway.
When we heard Albert say, it's a town anyway, knew immediately,
Yeah.
That's how the movie was gonna end.
Yeah. Summed it all up.
And now, unfortunately, this whole list has gotten quite a bit longer. Since you wrapped shooting,
Wayne
died.
Arthur
died.
Albert's not on that, huh? Yeah, that's really sad. I got really sad about every one of those, I think.
Yeah.
Weird, I don't know why, I mean, it's not like they're fan. It actually feels like it, watch them so many times, and during those years, pretty much were.
Well, they're, not only good guys, not only, people that you connected with during the shooting, but, they're an integral part of an integral place in your life.
Yeah.
You know what you remind me of that like we never mentioned was Jerry says that when he's being your MC he's like all the way from Putnam, Connecticut. And what we never explained in this was you were working with your dad in Southbridge.
Yeah.
But you weren't actually living in Southbridge.
No, I lived about 30 minutes away.
Right.
I, by design, didn't live in Southbridge.
Right.
It's like I had to move back home, and it's like, oh man, I can't. I just can't move back to Southbridge. Looking back, I wish I did. I would have had a great time.
Yeah.
I really wish I did, but wasn't in the cards. I needed a little space. I mean, I remember Steve found out I lived out of town, and he wanted to move in. He wanted to bring his old lady
down to Putnam and live with you?
Oh yeah, he was stalking me. He got my phone number.
What, just
somehow.
to get out of Southbridge?
Yeah, because he couldn't be. The cops were. It was too hot in Southbridge. They were out. I mean, he was on the police radar for sure. And once he found out I was out of town, it was not. And I think he came out.
Really?
They tried to find me. Yeah.
It's amazing that he thinks Putnam is like laying low. Yeah.
I'm the DL in Putnam.
It's gonna can go incognito.
Putnam.
Make a new start of it 30 minutes away.
The gang's all here.
The internet. Just when you think it's over.
And there we go. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Yeah. Tell your friends.
5 cents. It's not a joke. Money doesn't grow on trees.